In today's video, we're going to be discussing some more potential off-season trades that we might see go down in the NHL this summer. They mainly involve the Edmonton Oilers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Carolina Hurricanes. We're also going to reveal the winner from our 1,000 subscriber giveaway contest. And that's all coming up next. Welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We'll review and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top, today we have a few more NHL trade rumors to discuss that we may see go down this offseason. Plus, we're going to reveal the winner from our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So if you're a subscriber and you want to find out if you won the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, stay tuned. As soon as we get done discussing the NHL trade rumors here, we're going to reveal the winner of that here in just a few moments. But first up, I want to get into a couple of the things that are being discussed right now. The big one I've been hearing is the Edmonton Oilers. Now, it seems as though they're picking number 10 in this year's 2018 NHL Entry Draft. It's been highly speculated, and I've seen this in a lot of places, a variety of sources here, that they are very, very interested in trading that pick. They're really more interested in getting something that's going to help their team right now. Obviously, they acknowledge the fact that, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and some of their top guys are young and, are ready to achieve a lot with this team. And they need help to take that next step, and they need it today. They don't need it in 2, 3, 4 years down the road. And they feel like the player that they'd get at that number 10 spot would likely be 2 to 3 years away from being a regular NHL player who would have any kind of impact. Now, obviously, this is something they may hold on to and do a deal potentially at the draft instead of well ahead of time, just to kind of maybe see who falls into that spot. You never know. We've seen a lot of drafts where some of the top guys, maybe somebody who was expected to go in the top 5 happens to fall out of that and suddenly becomes available, and that might change their plans. As we all know, the Oilers definitely need some upgrades on defense, especially on that right side. So there's heavily speculation here that that's what they would try to do, is to use that pick to get an NHL-ready defenseman who's a good puck mover, who could have an impact with their team right away. Possibly, depending on who was available, what kind of deal they made, they do have a lot of younger wingers that maybe they could package up with that pick if it was required in order to facilitate that type of trade. I mean, obviously, they have some pretty good scoring wingers that are kind of still finding their groove. That wouldn't be totally shocking. Like Jesse Puljujarvi, for example, is a good name. He did get more ice time with the Oilers this year and didn't do too bad. So if they don't feel like he's a long-term winger for McDavid, for example, then maybe he's used as a trade to upgrade their defense. I mean, Puljujarvi, I think, still has a lot of potential. At the same time, if they can use him to upgrade another area of their team, then maybe it is a good move for them to do that. So I wouldn't be completely shocked to see maybe a guy like Puljujarvi in that number 10 pick go out and try to obtain a defenseman to help them there. Now, obviously, who could they be looking at? Well, there's a number of teams that might have defensemen available. Now, one of the teams we're going to mention in today's video is the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, with the Hurricanes, there isn't any specific rumors about specific players, but based on the press conference that we saw from the Rod Brind'Amour hire with Tom Dundon, Don Waddell, and Rod Brind'Amour, it certainly got the impression that there's going to be a lot of deals made. I think they're going to try to move out a fair bit of that roster and really start fresh with a whole new group of guys here. And obviously, they can't trade everybody, but I think we're going to see the Hurricanes try to make a lot of deals between now and the fall to kind of reshape this team. So therefore, the Hurricanes could be a team that the Oilers maybe deal with, especially considering that the one area of strength that I feel they do have is they have a lot of good young defensemen who are already in the NHL or about to be, that would certainly be ready to step in and make an impact. So could we see a deal with the Oilers and Hurricanes possibly, where they maybe get that number 10 pick? They've already got the number 2 pick. So maybe it could be a case where the Hurricanes maybe end up with another first-round pick, maybe in exchange for one of their young defensemen. Hard to say. That's just one team that comes to mind. Another team, for example, that was mentioned, I think is a lot less likely, was St. Louis. It was rumored they were looking at Colton Parayko. I'm not sure. I really don't see the Blues moving him. That would be a great deal for the Oilers if they could get him, but don't see it happening. Another team that came up was Colorado. Maybe Tyson Barrie might be a good option. Another one was the Calgary Flames. Now, I know obviously that seems less likely because of the fact that they're division rivals, but Calgary does technically have, what they would need. We said that Calgary likely would try to obtain a forward in exchange for a defenseman, and that would probably work well from that perspective. but because of the fact of the divisional rivals, like I said, it does make it a little bit less likely. Either way, there's lots of possibilities out there, so let me know down in the comments, do you think it's quite likely we could see the Oilers move the number 10 pick and if necessary, possibly package it with a guy like Puljujarvi to try to land themselves a more solid top 4D to really upgrade the back end. Now moving on to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Obviously the Penguins recently got defeated here by the Washington Capitals and are out of the playoffs, so the three-peat is not going to happen. Obviously listening to the end of season press conference from General Manager Jim Rutherford and some other, like Coach Mike Sullivan, etc., it does sound like Rutherford wants to make some changes to upgrade this roster going forward to next year. Obviously, it sounds like they're quite hungry to get back in the thick of things and try to win another Stanley Cup. And really, who would blame them? They've had a fantastic run here. They got a lot of core players locked up for a long time. I don't think we're going to see anything too drastic with this roster in Pittsburgh change. I mean, obviously, you've got Crosby and Malkin locked up for a long time. Phil Kessel still has 4 years. They made a deal for Derek Brassard. You could argue maybe that deal didn't work out. I don't see them moving him, though, because he does, especially playing the role of a number 3 center, should be pretty solid. I think they probably would let that 1 year left on his deal kind of ride out and see where things go. So I don't see that happening. I did see some speculation about Phil Kessel. It was more fans saying that they think that the Penguins should look at moving him, but really, he had a career season. Yes, he didn't get the greatest playoff performance, but you know what? The Penguins did say he was battling injuries. After an 82-game season and a couple playoff rounds, really, who isn't banged up to a degree? There's no doubt there's not too many NHL players at that point that can honestly say they're totally healthy 100%. So, what could the Penguins do? Now, they don't have a ton of cap space. They are tight to the cap. They do have a bunch of guys that are RFA. They don't have much in the way of UFAs, but they do have some RFAs that need new contracts. But the little bit of cap space they have, assuming the cap goes up to around $80 million, like it's expected to, they should be able to sign those players without really losing much. So in order to make some trades, they're going to have some money go out in order to bring some money in. Now, one of the prime candidates that I think is a good trade target, who makes $4 million, is Carl Hagelin. Doesn't have a lot of term left on his deal. I think he's down to 1 year left. But with $4 million, he certainly hasn't played up to a $4 million player in the last couple seasons, in my opinion. I know it's something that I suggested even earlier this year going into last year, but that they should look at maybe moving him, and maybe they did. It's just obviously it's a tougher contract to move with the performance he's given lately. He did a little bit better in the playoffs, but still not up to a $4 million player. So, for example, maybe they could consider buying him out as well if they can't find a trade to kind of free up some cash flow. At least since he's only got a short time left on his contract, they wouldn't be stuck with that buyout penalty for too long. But the Penguins definitely looking to make some moves. The area of focus is definitely going to be more so on the back end. You could tell their depth on defense really was exposed here against the Capitals. They had way too many odd man rushes against. The Capitals really made them pay for a lot of the turnovers on the other end. Their D just isn't quite as good as they had in years past when they won the Stanley Cup. A lot of guys like Ron Hainsey, Trevor Daley, Ian Cole, they played a big role, and maybe those roles were maybe undervalued, or maybe they didn't realize just how important they were. Some of them were victims of the salary cap. It wasn't that they wanted to move them per se. Ian Cole's a guy they could have potentially kept, but opted not to. I expect the Penguins to be active, though, trying to make some upgrades. Jim Rutherford's been a wizard kind of moving things around with the salary cap to make things work to be competitive. And I would fully suspect they will definitely go after a defenseman. Just not quite sure who as of yet and who's going to go. But they did acknowledge that they want to see some of their younger players like Daniel Sprong and Zach Aston Reese be full-time NHLers next year, playing a more regular role, more prominent role. So that could spell a little bit of change in the forward group as well in order to facilitate to have them have full-time roster spots. So who goes out? Like, in my opinion, like I said, Hagelin's a name that comes to mind. Even Connor Sheary, really, in my opinion, didn't have a great playoff. Really hasn't had that great of a solid regular season either. For what he's making, I think he's making around $3 million. Sheary, certainly another guy. Between Sheary and Hagelin, if they can move out a couple guys like that, bring in some youth up forward, and maybe another veteran defenseman on the back end, that could drastically change things for this Penguin team. Now, just to circle back here to the Hurricanes before we wrap things up, as I mentioned, they may be a good trade partner for the Oilers, but based on the press conference that we saw, them announcing Rod Brind'Amour as the new head coach and Don Waddell to be the full-time general manager, I got a lot of weird vibes off that press conference with that team. It almost seems like the owner, Tom Dundon, seems to have a little bit of a bromance going here with Rod Brind'Amour. The amount of praise he gave him was kind of crazy. Not that Brind'Amour is a good, solid hockey player. He's a good hockey man, well respected and all, but he's never been a head coach before. And one of the comments that he said was that he had a conversation with Brind'Amour about how to keep him in the fold should he not be head coach someday. So it's like they're already discussing about when he fails to deliver and they have to replace him. Like, I mean, just an odd conversation. I just found it really weird. And when Don Waddell was asked about becoming the GM, he didn't seem the least little bit happy about it at all. He said they asked him when the decision was made. He said that after the draft lottery, when they were fortunate enough to land the #2 pick, he got a call from Tom Dundon and said, "All right, Don, you're the GM now." And that's it. And he didn't seem happy. He doesn't seem thrilled. I mean, they brought in Rick Dudley to be in the management team as well. So you've got Dudley and you've got Waddell, the old Atlanta Thrashers people. So I've already kind of voiced my opinion in the other video discussing the Brind'Amour hire on that. But anyways, I don't have a lot of confidence in what they're doing, but we'll see. But at the end of the day here, the main topic to take away from this is I think the Hurricanes are going to be more than open for business. I think they're going to see a lot of trades coming out of the organization. There's a lot of guys I think we're going to see moved out, and I think they're probably going to go with more of a youth movement and try to get the most out of that team and out of their players. They do have a lot of young defensemen already. They have a few young forwards that are quite exciting to watch. They definitely need an upgrade in goal. For sure, Darling didn't deliver last year. Ward's a free agent, so it'll be interesting to see how they proceed there. So you're definitely going to see, I think, a lot of deals come out of the Hurricanes. So when you see a lot of other teams that are rumored to be looking for certain pieces, I'll definitely look back to the Hurricanes to see if there's a deal there, because I think they're going to be very, very active, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a few deals go down at the draft and further into the offseason. Thank you very much for staying with me here the whole time, getting through the new content here. So I want to, as I mentioned, do the announcement for the giveaway. So I just want to take a second again and thank everybody for their support in this channel. The 1,000 subscriber giveaway has been posted for, I let it go for a couple of weeks just to make sure that everybody had a chance to watch and have a chance to enter. I know a lot of you watch regularly all the time, every day, and then some of you a little bit more sporadic. I know obviously a lot of you are busy, don't always have time to watch every day, so I want to make sure everybody had lots of time to get caught up and have a chance. So you're going to see an image here pop up on the screen, which was a screenshot from the program I used to do the draw. We used a site called commentpicker.com, which basically is real simple. You can enter the URL from a YouTube video. It goes through and acknowledges all the comments, tells you how many unique comments there were. So for example, if you leave a comment and I reply, it kind of breaks it all down to unique comments. And then it does a random draw in raffle style and picks a winner for you. So the winner that you'll see here, confirmation on the screen, is Darth, New York Rangers. So Darth, if you want to get in touch with me, congratulations on the win. My email address for this channel is down below in the description, so please send me an email and let me know how to go about shipping you your prize. Now what I've done here is I didn't go out and purchase the prize yet. I was waiting to see who won. The whole purpose of getting you to comment and leave your favorite team is I wanted you to have the hat for your favorite team. I figured that would be more interesting. I mean, if I had a hat, say for example for Vegas or for Toronto, and what if you're a fan of a totally different team? You may not really be thrilled with your winnings. So I know, at the end of the day here, giveaway is a giveaway, free stuff is free stuff. Some people don't care, but a lot of you probably do. So that's why I haven't had the item here to showcase, because I wanted to wait and I wanted to make sure that the item you won was for your favorite team. I thought you'd appreciate it a lot more, get a lot more use out of it. So I thought that would be the way to go. So again, my email address is down below. Send me an email, get in touch with me, let me know how to ship you your winning prize here, and I'll be in touch shortly to let you know when it's on its way to you. Again, if you're new to the channel, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams. There will be future giveaways as well as we hit other big milestones for the subscriber count. So please stay tuned for that. We'll probably do another one here when we hit 5,000. If you haven't done so already, check out our Twitter handle. You can find it on our screen right here. We're very active on Twitter and love having hockey conversations with all of our viewers on there. So check that out if you're on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
We'll be right back.